Hello, and welcome back to the journey. So I know I said yesterday I was gonna do the review. Well, I said it on Friday I was gonna do the review yesterday. Um, I had a lot going on. I something to do with a friend, and then I had a prospectus for my master's degree going on. That's completely unrelated, but obviously takes precedence over this because this is at the very beginning. So I was more concerned with that. Um, so this is kind of a review of the first 6 days. Wow. Um, yeah, I tried to do lessons. It was like Unit 0, Lesson 1, Unit 0, Lesson 2. Um, so the one thing that really became clear is that I need more familiarization with the alphabet itself. And I'm still going to keep using the How to Study Korean tool. I downloaded the app. That way I can actually use that instead of having to focus solely on you staring at me on the computer. I can legit just go, hey, click, 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 click. Haha. Um, the one thing I noticed is that I'm really having trouble with like the alphabet itself, and just staring at the letters is really not gonna, or constantly going back and forth to that is not necessarily going to be the right solution. I've got an idea. It's annoying, but it's one of the few times since like this tool is actually useful. As much as everyone loves to bash that little owl, Duolingo actually does do a good job of having a separate section for the alphabet. And since they integrated the speaking aspect of learning a language into their programming, I don't necessarily need to go through their entire units or their entire program to try to learn Korean. I've seen a video of a guy go to Russian using only Duolingo as his main source, and he was mostly able to find his way around Moscow. I think the dude is like British or something. I don't know. He was not an American, so he was still allowed to go to Russia at the time. Um, but his but just listening to enough Russian in my time, I could tell that he wasn't. He was never going to pass for like a native or anything like that. He was more concerned with like, can I talk to locals? And there were times he would legit have to switch languages, not to English, because the goal was to try to survive without English. But apparently the man spoke fluent Arabic, so he was able to communicate in Arabic instead of Russian when he ran into someone where there's just like a language barrier that can be overcome with Russian itself. Point is that he was able to at least mostly figure out the Russian language, but it one of the main flaws of Duolingo really stuck out, and that's on Duolingo they don't teach you one of the most basic fundamentals of Russian grammar, and that's if you see OGO at the end of a word in Russian, about 90% of the time, 95% of the time, that G is not pronounced like a G. It's pronounced like a V. That's just how it works. And because he did not know that, Duolingo did not teach him that, it ended up being a massive barrier for him when he was trying to find his way around Moscow. So that's why I'm not going to be using Duolingo as my primary tool. However, I am going to use Duolingo to learn the letters themselves. I might use like a lesson here and there of Duolingo so that I can just get more familiarized with the sentence structure. Because when I was rewatching my old videos, I only got to most of the first one and some of the second one, but one of the things that stood out is like, yeah, there's probably gonna be a lesson about sentence structure. I think that's the kind of thing Duolingo can teach me is sentence structure. At least I hope so. But at the same time, it's not gonna be my primary resource. So that's one of the things I'll be using it for. I have the web app for Duolingo pulled up. That way I can just look at it, and I'm not going to look at the main letter or main lessons. I'm just going to look at the letters. Hangul. Get to know the main writing system in Korea. Learn the letters. Click. So I'm going to learn the basic letters and just go from there. All right. Basic letters. The Korean alphabet is known as Hangul. Letters are combined into syllable blocks. For example, ga, equals ga. Okay, don't patronize me. This does have a listening thing, and with Duolingo, they only do 4 letters at a time, and they are 4 practical letters. And as you go along, they get progressively less so. But it's also designed to teach you the whole alphabet. That way you can use it in the most feasible way. So that's what I'm going to do in this one. I'm going to come back to the review because there is, not the review, but there's something else I do want to address. Fuck it, I'll go ahead and do that now. In that first lesson, I had established my goals. One of them, conversation in Korean about baseball. That is still number 1. And being a Red Sox fan, I need to feel good about baseball somehow. I wore the Red Sox cap in, I want to say 3 or 4. For the streakiest team in baseball, I need something to look forward to, and being able to speak about baseball in Korean is something I want to be able to look forward to. Goal number 2, history book. I don't necessarily know what history book I want to read, but it'll definitely be a history book about like history of Korea. I mentioned the Proto Three Kingdoms. I think that would be a good place to start. That way I can learn about like the earliest history of Korea, because I feel like if you don't understand sequentially what transpired over a longer period of time, that when you break it down, say like you study Korea, you get to, usually when people talk about history of Korea, they'll start 1935, 1945. Sometimes you hear someone mention 1910, other times you hear them say 1895. Those years are not coincidences. And if you go back before 1895, it's like a black hole. So I think I want to read a book about Korea in Korean from, or starting like ancient Korea, if you will. That way I have a basic foundation. Kind of like when you study European history, you usually start with the Greeks. It's not necessarily the best place to start, but it's usually where people start because that's where a lot of the ideas come from. So I do still have that goal. I do still have that intent. I don't necessarily intend to give a full brief about it. But if I get to the point where I'm able to do that, I may just do a video in Korean where I'm just giving you my assessment of what I read. I don't know. It's a long way off. Then the other one is read a book in Korean philosophically. Honestly, I can probably read Nietzsche because it's really of the philosophers, his probably is the least deep. Not to say that he doesn't have any depth. Um, like I read his book on religion in English, and it was pretty easy to understand. It wasn't exactly Marcus Aurelius. Um, I haven't read Meditations, but that is on my to read list. Um, that said, I don't necessarily have the best grasp of Stoicism. So yeah, I'm still gonna maintain those three goals. Um, Another one I remember mentioning is I want to get to the point where I can watch a K drama, like with Korean subtitles. I'm writing that down right now. K drama, Korean, Hangul subtitles. That way I've got somewhere to start. Or actually, at that point, it's not I'm starting. I'm able to watch a TV show in the target language and understand what is going on. I don't necessarily need to understand all the nuances. Let's face it. I'm watching YouTube videos about Korean culture, and there's obviously a lot I don't know. And watching how I was in my first video, everything I said still holds up. I will stand by that. I feel like there's a fifth one, but I don't know. Those videos are really long, so I haven't had a chance to really go in depth. And that prospectus I have is due tonight. It's done, but I still need to turn it in. So, yeah. All that out of the way now. I feel comfortable. Yes, I just sat down. Getting back into the letters. Some of them I'm glad I used the How to Study Korean first, because this just tells me that there are syllable blocks, but doesn't tell me what those syllable blocks are. And if I didn't know that, I'd be going crazy. So let's hear how they say the letter A. Ah. Now the EO, I was having trouble hearing this letter, or at least hearing it right. All says like in cup. All M mu g. Also may sound like a light K as in sky. Ka. Yay. Ah. Ah. Ka. Ah. Oh, okay. So, the way Duolingo's doing it, it has me actually the building the syllables, not just the letters themselves. That way, I can actually bring them together. Okay, that's pretty rad. All, all, ka, call, call, ka, or ga, go. That's this one. Ma. Which is different from how you say M in English, because in English we say M, in Korean they're saying mo. I am listening. Ma. Okay, okay. So here's a valuable thing for Duolingo. It's having me build the letters, but when I draw the letters, it's having me do it like in the right form. That way, it actually makes sense. Ah. Ma. Call. Ma. Ma. Okay, it's not exactly the most cooperative with the website. All. Mall. Ga. Ka. Ma. M. Mall. Not m. Moo. Mall. Okay. Ka. Ma. Mall. Go. Yay, I got a perfect score. Woo! And I got 9 gems. I also. So I am still using Duolingo um, for studying Russian because that is a language I'm still studying. But I'm using Duolingo for Russian because I already have a background in grammar. I know that Russian doesn't really use syntax, but I also know how to denote what part of the sentence means what in Russian. And if I hear it, I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I can pick up some of the words here, I can pick up some of the words there. Um, Given enough time, as Metatron Academy described it, language is kind of like this. I'm still climbing up the mountain, whereas with Russian, I'm like probably somewhere around here ish, to the point where it's eventually going to come back down to where I'm going to get where it's like, okay, I didn't understand that word, but I know what's going on. I think so. I'm still doing Russian for that purpose. Like I'm gonna continue doing that. Whereas Korean, I'm doing this way because I have no background. I'm gonna continue doing that because I still have no background, and I would like to build a background, build from scratch like I have been, and it's been a week, and I'm still having fun with this. And honestly, it's kind of a nice distraction from everything else going on in my life because, yeah, I got a lot of things going on. I got a lot of different things I got to do. This is just kind of one of those things where it's like, I do it in the evening. It, it's half an hour, thereabout. I don't really do that much prep for it, at least not yet. Or at least not right now. Probably should do more, but I don't. And I just kind of enjoy studying it. I kind of enjoy doing it. I kind of just like it, you know? I will probably go ahead and just do a lesson a day on Duolingo in Korean, basically so I can learn some words. But like in the evenings like this, I'll probably do one segment where I do uh, character study, which is what I was just doing, and then I'll switch back to the how to study Korean lessons. That way I can get more of those building blocks put together. Basically just take each brick, build that brick house. Because you do it one at a time. So I think that's how I'm going to treat studying Korean for the foreseeable future. That way I'm not using just one source or one tool. Um, yeah, that little bird is annoying as hell, but when used right, it is an effective tool. So I'm gonna continue doing that. That said, it's not my primary tool. I have read short stories in Russian, so it's not like that's my primary tool for Russian either. But that's also like one of the first things I do in the morning, not one of the first things I do in the evening. Um, I haven't eaten supper yet, so usually Korean is after supper. I just haven't done it because I've been really busy today and yesterday. That's not related. In fact, that's a non sequitur. Whatever. But um, I think that's enough for this lesson, this review, combined into one, which was not intentional. And um, thank you for continuing this journey with me. I did get a view. I'm pretty sure it's an accident that I got a view. Um, yeah, so stick with me and we'll continue this journey together. Cheers.